Hi guys, welcome to the Simhanger. My name is Mark, and today a little something different. I'm in the DOF H3 motion simulator and I'm recording this in VR directly in the Quest 3 headset. But what we're looking at today is a Virpil Flight Stick. In fact, it's a combination of two products. It is the base here, which is the WarBRD-D base with the Constellation Alpha grip. I've been using it off and on for the last 2 to 3 weeks, and I must say I'm very impressed. And later on in the video we'll have a look at some of the detail. But I thought let's start off with my overall impression and what I think of it. And the long and the short of it is that I think it is the best flight stick I've ever used so far. And I've used a fair few joysticks in my day. A couple of things will strike you. One is the high resolution within each of the axes, the amount of throw or amount of movement that is available. I mean, it's a lot more than you get with most ball and socket type joysticks. This one, of course, is not ball and socket. This one uses a combination of dual cams as well as springs. So it doesn't have that very strong return to center, and you're able to adjust it so you can get variable force and variable feel depending on how far and how you move the joystick. It also comes with dampeners, which I'll show a little later on, so you don't get that very obvious springy type effect. You get something far more realistic.
Motion compensation activated.
Let's get the motion compensation on. Up we go. Get that gear away. Flaps up. Oh, what a feeling, what an experience. Anyway, back to the joystick. The fact that it uses cams, and you get a number of different cams with the base, which will give it a very different feel. You can have soft center, which will suit helicopter pilots, and the various springs that you get. I've got the standard springs in. There's a heavy set and a heavy duty set, which really does provide a huge amount of force. A little bit too strong for me to be comfortable. I find the standard absolutely fine. Virpil have a reputation in the market for two things. One, for high quality, and they definitely don't disappoint in that regard, and also for being expensive. How expensive? Well, depending where you are. If you're in Europe and you buy the base and the grip, because you can buy them separately, there's a number of bases and grips available to suit the style and type of aircraft that you may wish to fly. The WarBRD-D base and the Alpha Constellation are pretty much, I would think, probably the most popular and the most generic available, but they do have that reputation for being expensive. But expense is relative to the amount of time that you spend in sim. The type of aircraft that you fly, of course, will determine whether a flight stick or a yoke is the better investment. In this case, on my DOF H3 I have both flight stick and yoke. In terms of pricing, well, if you're in the States, it's going to cost you for this complete set about $540 US. In Europe, about 480 euros, I think. And in the UK, including VAT, about £520. So it's certainly a considered purchase aimed at the enthusiast. But the other thing I look on that I think is a very important factor is what sort of life expectancy do you expect to get out of your product? It may be more expensive initially, but maybe over the longer term, it's actually not that expensive at all. You buy the cheaper joysticks, they don't last long, a year or two, and you're going to have to replace them. This Virpil joystick, I think they could very well last you 10, 20 years, perhaps even longer. later on in the video when we have a look at the construction. The reason I've been so bolshy, if you like, if that's the right word, regarding its life expectancy will become clearer. Now, the amount of resolution that you get gives you a very, very fine level of control. In terms of dead zones, I haven't set any dead zones in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I haven't needed to. So what am I saying? Well, this is the best flight stick I've ever used in any simulator. Yes, it's expensive. And yes, Virpil provided it to me for review purposes, so I haven't actually parted with my own cash. But knowing what I know now, would I do so? To be perfectly honest, yes, I would. This is a flight stick you buy once, and you'll never have to worry about it again. Let's now jump out of the sim and we can go and have a look at what you get and some more of the detail. I'm not going to bore you with an unboxing. Safe to say that the Virpil products come extremely well packed, designed to take the rigors of day-to-day transport. Inside the box, and first and foremost, you get the all-metal base. And initially, you're probably a little surprised at the weight of this unit. The base has two connectors on it, the quick release 4-pin Virpil USB connector, and an auxiliary port for Virpil legacy products. This base is also compatible with Thrustmaster's Warthog grip. As mentioned earlier, it comes with an additional 2 sets of springs, heavy and extra heavy, so you can tailor the tension to suit yourself, and also various cams. This is a no-center cam to suit helicopter pilots, Cosmo sims to suit those that like space sims. Changing the cams in the base changed the feel of the flight stick considerably. On the Virpil website, there's detailed instructions on how to go about fitting all of the options available. For those engineering type nerds like myself, you'll appreciate the precision engineering and high quality finish applied to every component. The base is quite small, ideal for mounting on a rig, but comes with a desktop mount if that's your preference. And once again, as you'd expect, it's all metal. The 4-pin connector is a quick release with a standard USB for connection to the PC on the other end. The unit has 2 dampeners, one for each axis, X and Y, and adjustments can be made on the fly through the use of an Allen key to adjust the friction and tension to suit individual preferences, from springy to very firm and sticky. The engineering of the mechanism itself is again all metal. It is precision engineered, and if you're into this sort of thing, well, it's a thing of beauty. This unit is robust and is designed to last and take the hammerings of day-to-day use. Let's now turn our attention to the Constellation Alpha grip. Whilst it does have metal components, it is made predominantly out of a hardened polyurethane or plastic type material, and in my opinion has everything you want and more. Has a dual stage trigger that can be reconfigured for a number of different options, has an analog joystick, 3 4-way hat switches, 1 2-way hat switch, 3 momentary buttons. At the bottom is a metal brake lever, a scroll encoder which worked great as a trim, a lockable twist axis for rudder, an adjustable handrest which is very useful. Attaching the grip to the base takes a little bit of work. From the base of the grip you pull out the lead, it comes out about 2 centimeters, and then slots into the reciprocating port on the base. Make sure it's pushed well down, then screw down the locking nut. Once that's done, using an Allen key, tighten down the 3 small bolts, and you're done. Once I had assembled the unit, it's now default. There's not a lot of tension, and as you can see, it's quite springy. If that suits you, you're good to go. Using the Allen key, I adjusted the dampeners, and as you can see here, it makes a marked difference to the behavior of the flight stick itself, providing a very nice and comfortable tension and feedback. Needless to say, for both the grip and the base, there are detailed instructions via Virpil, with step-by-step guides, professionally presented, with more than enough adequate detail. That concludes my look at the WarBRD-D base and Constellation Alpha Grip. Combined, they make an excellent flight stick. Having recently got hold of the rudder pedals, I must say I'm becoming a bit of a Virpil convert. Relevant links in the notes below. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you found it useful and informative. Stay well, look after yourselves, and ciao for now.